Hi, I'm Garnbreak1, and this is Midgardia's cool crowdfunding show. I'm here today with Trent from Gelatinous Cubicles. How's it going?
Hey, it's going pretty well. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well myself. So you're here to tell us about Tales from the Firelit Gathering, so why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So I'm Trent. I come from Gelatinous Cubicles. We're a team of friends who have been making fifth edition content now for quite a few years. And Tales from the Firelit Gathering is sort of our most ambitious project to date. It's a hardcover expansion for fifth edition that is focused around player options.
Nice. It must have been a stressful last approximately a month for you, huh?
Yeah, it's I mean, being a, being an independent creator is not easy. But at the same time it's been pretty fulfilling. Just sort of like watching everything happen. We've been working with all kinds of artists sort of to bring these off the wall ideas to life, and just like as things have been coming together, it's pretty satisfying. We've gotten some good feedback too and some good responses, so that's
Yeah.
always really heartening.
And the OGL drama kind of shook out in y'all's favor, so
For
that helps.
sure. Yeah, and that was a that was a wild ride. I did what I could to help out with all that, and other than that, I know I just did what I could to kind of let things play out, you know. And luckily, as you say, they did play out well for us.
Yeah. So in this new era of fifth edition with Creative Commons and stuff, what does Tales
Mhm.
from the Firelight Gathering bring to the table?
Tales from the Firelit Gathering is sort of our attempt to patch different holes that exist within Fifth Edition. It's a really great game, and we've been playing it for a long time. We do feel that there are certain things in 5e that are a little underserved. So some of those are mechanical, and some of those are sort of representational. I'll talk about what I mean by that in a second. But mechanically, we're definitely trying to allow people to play classes and subclasses in ways that they haven't really been able to do before. Particularly excited about a barbarian that allows you to also be a half caster. We found some fun ways to kind of tie rage into concentration of spells. So that's really exciting. Look forward to that in the preview. We've also done a expanded weapons table. It's kind of crazy to think that fifth edition has been using the same like 30 or 40 weapons since the player's handbook all these years. And we're expanding options so that martial characters can not only feel like they have the same kind of options as spellcasters, but we're also bringing in weapons from all over the world. So we're expanding the scope of D&D beyond just that sort of traditional Western fantasy. In terms of that, we're also really trying to challenge what an adventurer can look like and who an adventurer can be. So I'm pretty excited that we're gonna have some different kinds of art present in the book. We're gonna have queer representation, disability representation, all sorts of cool stuff. One of my favorite things actually is a feat that we designed called Prosthetic Prodigy, which is basically allowing your adventurer with a prosthetic, prosthesis of some kind to integrate weapons, tools, all kinds of cool stuff. So really what the book is focused around, I'd say, is bringing tables together and allowing people to play the game in new ways, and allowing people to really sort of live fantasies that 5th edition, as great as it is, just hasn't quite been able to deliver on.
Right on, right on. I'm looking forward to new weapons. I mostly play martials, and the selection is not great.
No, it's not fantastic. To that end, we even added a few sort of like fighting styles and weapon properties. So, not that we're, going to be ignoring spellcasters by any amount. Personally, I play a lot of casters, right? So, I made sure to put some spells in the book too. But really, the new weapon properties include things like defensive options, offensive options, and they should sort of help give you some more opportunities to really explore strategic options beyond I rolled a hit with a martial character. So we're excited for that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to having reasons to pick weapons other than just like, is the damage die slightly bigger?
Right, yeah. No, now it we've got some special properties that one of my favorites is the boomerang, which sort of I don't want to release too much now, but you'll see when we drop that soon.
Boomerang, you always do come back. Yeah. So, you mentioned that you have spells and such as well. So can you tell me a little bit about those?
Sure. So, sort of in the same vein of things, we're trying to deliver on concepts that feel like they, exist right alongside other fifth edition concepts, but aren't quite there yet. So, we've got anything from spells, like enchantment spells, that are very high level and can affect not just one person, not just two, but like a whole town, right? Like, what happens if you sow a rumor amongst a town and everybody believes that rumor? How can that influence things? Sort of ideas like that. We've also got some new spells for underserved damage types. So there's a million spells that deal fire damage, but now, we're providing more acid, more frost spells to sort of let people play into those character archetypes.
Nice, nice. Yeah, fire is there's a lot of it. There's a lot of it. There's a lot of things that resist it. It's like half the meta.
For sure. Well, and as I say, there will be fire too. Don't get me wrong. But we're, just putting a new spin on things. So
So, what's the story behind the title, the Tales from the Firelit Gathering?
Sure. So, Tales from the Firelit Gathering, the whole book, is told from the perspective of this character, Kazan. And Kazan is an orcish traveler who is sort of part-time storyteller and part-time anthropologist, right? So Kazan has traveled the world for a very long time, suspiciously long, some might say, and he has gathered all sorts of tales from all sorts of different kinds of people. And so, sort of alongside our mission with Tales from the Firelit Gathering to, bring additional representation, additional character options into fifth edition, Kazan is sort of the medium by which we are delivering that through the book. So you can expect to find little quips from Kazan about whatever it is he might be talking about, and the whole narrative is kind of framed from that perspective. Additionally, the Firelit Gathering is sort of a gathering that Kazan holds where adventurers of all different kinds, if he's in the area, can come and hear about all of these things he's seen. And so, to that end, we liked the idea of this book sort of being like that Firelit Gathering, right? We are attracting these players to this gathering so that they can experience all these wondrous new things, so that they can be brought together, and so that pun very much intended, some of that love for fifth edition can be reignited, right?
Right, right, right on. I dig it, and I really like the logo design as well. It looks very very old school in a good way.
Thanks. Yeah, yeah, we're pretty happy with it. I love. I'm a personal fan of how it just sort of appears above Kazan as he, presents it, getting ready for a story.
Yeah, well, that's excellent. Um, is this all? Sorry, I'm gonna try that sentence again.
No worries.
Are there any other aspects of the book that you'd like to talk about while we're here?
One of my favorite things about this book, just sort of seeing it all come together, is the art, right? So the art has been, we've worked with some phenomenal artists, and they've brought some of our harebrained sort of ideas to life in ways that you just can't really expect until you see it realized, right? So one of my favorite things that has been done is the Shield of Shouting, which is this sort of sentient shield that has been discarded by many of an adventurer, not because it's not necessarily useful, but because it's very irritating, right? Another magic item, the Coat of Arms, which is quite literally a coat that will provide you, the character, with additional arms so that you can do who knows what with them. And just seeing artists takes on these weird little ideas is spectacular. I think if you take a look at the page in the PDF, you'll kind of see what I mean, where it's kind of just this beautiful menagerie of weird little quirky ideas, as well as just really, really sort of inspiring depictions of new kinds of adventurers.
The coat of arms is inspired. I love that. I was expecting like a coat made out of arms, but no, this is way better.
Well, in some ways, it's made out of arms. It is. sort of created from the snake skin of a Merilith, right? So there's many armed demons, but I suppose it's not literally stitched together arms.
Mm-hmm. That'll be the next book. Will also have a coat of arms. It's just gonna be that
Yeah, the coat of more arms.
coat of
Perhaps.
more arms. There you go.
Right.
Uh, and yeah, the cover for this looks fantastic. I think I said already, but it's got some excellent posing.
Thanks very much. Yeah, it really captures that energy that we're trying to go with, where it's just, this book is after everything that's happened with the OGL, and really what we want with this book is just to bring people together, right? We just want to inspire some positive things at individual tables and just, help people enjoy the game. And so whether that can be any kind of player, we just want this book to be, serve as something positive for your group. And that was I think really captured with that art. Just the adventurers coming together, excited to hear the tales, and I'm a big fan as well.
Yeah, come hear some epic tales of faraway lands and strange adventures.
And coats of arms.
And coats of arms, yes. Magical items beyond belief.
Of course, yes.
It seems like there's a lot of really cool options in this book, and I think a lot of players will find it very useful as an additional, book to have alongside, the player's handbook, Xanathars, yada yada yada. Um,
It is funny you bring up Xanathars. That was kind of our modem apparatus here in terms of what we wanted this book to look like. Is just a really, really solid expansion on sort of the foundational rules.
yeah, it's not like here's a big setting book, like here's stuff that will work in a very specific context. It's hey, here's a bunch of cool new options.
Exactly, yeah. And nothing makes us happier, than people just telling us, like, oh, this thing you've created, I have wanted to play a character like this for so long. Like I have wanted to play a holy wizard, right? For so long, and I've tried to homebrew it, or it hasn't really worked out, or I'm not really into multi-classing, and so, oh, you brought me this thing, and now it makes that possible. And that is probably one of our favorite things to hear whenever we've released content in the past. So that really is kind of the point of inspiration here, is just that allowing you to do what you may not have been able to before.
Right on. And yeah, there will be a link to this in the comments below. Go take a look at it. Back the project. Get yourself some sweet new subclasses, some wonderful spells, more weapons that actually have a difference other than just a bigger damage die.
For sure, for
and
sure.
and prosthetics with knives in them. Don't forget that. That's always good.
Many knives.
Many
yes.
knives. All right. And yeah. Have a good night, everybody.